Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Trent Rosenthal, and I am the founder and CEO of Bespoke Training. Bespoke is the advanced authorized training partner for AWS. Our partnership is now in its 11th year, and through that time, we have trained in excess of 39,500 students, and we've supported over 1,200 organizations with developing key AWS Cloud skills. To say that we are passionate about AWS Cloud is an understatement. And we're very excited today to be providing you with an overview of all of the AWS training and certification resources available to support you in either your personal or your business objectives around developing key AWS Cloud skills. Now, before we start, just a little bit of housekeeping. As we'll be recording the session, to protect your privacy, we've hidden your personal details. We've muted the microphone, so no heckling. And we've also reduced the camera access. Now, behind every good webinar is my support team. And I'm very happy to say that I've got our marketing manager, Fiona, who will be monitoring our chat window, answering any technical issues or any questions. And more importantly, she'll be posting the URL links that we will be referencing throughout the presentation. If you have any particular questions, pop them into the chat. And if we have time at the end, we'll endeavour to answer those questions for you. I believe that there's a few chats here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks, Fiona. Okay, great. So if we have a look at the agenda of what we're going to be covering off today, we will give you a quick overview of what impact the skills shortages is having on organizations' ability to leverage the cloud. Like I mentioned, we'll also talk about some free resources that we have readily available on our website. We'll dive into the very exciting AWS Skill Builder, which is Amazon's digital self-paced learning platform. We'll give you an overview of our instructor-led courses, and we'll talk to you about our public training schedule and its frequency. There'll be a quick snapshot of the global AWS certification pathways. And then at the end, we'll talk to you about potential next steps. So as cloud technologies continue to help organizations transform their businesses at a rapid pace, there's one global issue that will not go away. And that issue is that cloud makes innovation possible, but it's people that make it happen. The availability of skilled talent is the single biggest barrier to industry transformation. The last count was that there was 5 million cloud jobs that are unfilled globally. And by all reports, nearly half of workers' core skills will be disrupted within the next 4 years. Without the right skills, organizations are really struggling to get the full value from their cloud investment. And more than 75% of IT professionals report a skills gap in their organization. Now, these lack of skills are having a huge impact on the business. It's restricting or slowing down their migrations to cloud. It's extending project timelines. With the lack of skills, there's a growing backlog of projects in the pipeline. With minimal trained people, those people that are trained are then taking all of the workload, and it's increasing their stress levels. No doubt there's also the security risks, and there's also reduced efficiency of platform and also personnel. But if we talk today about why we should be developing the key cloud skills, I like to think about it as sort of two sides of a coin. If you think about the organization, now an organization logically is looking to build a secure and scalable cloud environment, while ultimately retiring the technical debt and then driving innovation through cloud. Now, the important thing for everyone is that their objective will also be that these environments need to be run, managed, and optimized by a cohesive team of talented technical engineers. For those of you that are the IT professional that's attending today, your objectives may well be a little bit different. You might want to keep pace with the technology. You're probably looking to future-proof your career. You're an achiever and you want to be at the forefront of this cloud revolution. And you want to actually be actively responsible for change and help organizations now or in the future drive innovation. Now, when we come to the resources that we're going to run through today, there's probably 4 key areas that we will run through in the next half an hour. We're going to have a look at all of the free resources that we have available on our website. We've already mentioned that we're going to dive into the AWS Skill Builder and Amazon's digital self-paced learning platform. We will give you an overview of our instructor-led technical training programs that we run, and we'll also talk to you about our public schedule that we run monthly. And then there will be a quick overview of the global recognized AWS certifications. Now, if we have a look at the free resources, I will have the free resources listed here on the webpage, but I think the best way to navigate that will be if we jump onto our webpage. So I'm just going to jump through now, and my attention is going to go to my second screen, so I'm not being rude by not looking at you. If we have a look at our website, so for those of you that don't know, it's bespoketraining.com. And if we start here in the main navigation, and if we have a look at resources, firstly, obviously today's webinar, this is where we host all of our webinars, upcoming, and also past recordings. You can see here, clearly my photograph was taken before I had my haircut. But once this recording is completed, it will then be added to our on-demand webinars. A couple of previous webinars that we've run last year and this year was safeguarding your security position, diving into the shared responsibility model between AWS and also the end user. And then also we had a master, the foundations of machine learning. So feel free to go back and have a look at these recordings if you choose. We also have some ebooks and some guides. Recently published, we've just done an ultimate guide for AWS training and certification, which dives into, I believe it's the top 15 questions that people are searching through Google around how to gain their ultimate certification and what learning pathways are available. Some of the other resources we have here are the 7 essentials for a successful cloud-first transformation. There's an ebook here about how you can further your career with training certification, and then 10 fundamental reasons why you should be considering learning AWS Cloud. Within the navigation across the top here, we've also got under the AWS courses, we have some more resources that we think will be useful. If we have a look at the AWS learning pathways, the global team out of the US is very structured with their learning, and we follow those learning pathways. They structure it into role-based and also solution-based learnings. So if you're, depending on your level of experience, we have a learning solution available for you. So if you're on this page, you can share this page amongst your colleagues or around the organization to sort of spark curiosity about the learning resources available. But if you have a look here, we start with the foundational learning. So depending on the experience level, this would probably be for non-technical, non-AWS experienced personnel might look at some of our foundational courses. But then we move into the role and solution-based learning programs. For an example, if we look at the learning track for a solutions architect, we have the different programs that are available through our ILT delivery and also sorted by the level. So we start with the fundamental technical essentials 1-day program. We then move through to the intermediate, which is the 3-day architecting program. And then if you're wanting to go further into the advanced sort of technologies, you would look at the advanced architecting program. Now, if you want to learn specifically about the program, you can click through on any of the course program names, and you'll see a dedicated landing page here that talks about the program, its course overview, the target audience, recommended prerequisites, what the objectives are, and what you'll be learning. And one of the real key elements here as well is that we have the module breakdown. It's quite an in-depth 3 days of training. So there's multiple modules per day, and we break down the specific topics under each module, just to give you an idea of what you're going to be learning. And of course, at the bottom of all of our course pages, you'll see our live public schedule. If you're looking to book, you can secure your online enrollment by clicking through on the appropriate date and use our secure online booking management system. Other resources that we have available that we're listing on the PowerPoint, we have the certification pathways. So this is a global certification pathway by AWS. We talk about the value and the benefits of certifications from an individual perspective and also an organization perspective. And then we break it down, similar to the learning pathways, we break it down into job role or function. And you can see there the architecture, analytics, development, operations, DevOps, security, networking, and AI and machine learning. We go back up to our main page navigation. We also have, from an organization standpoint, we are very fortunate to be able to coordinate AWS Learning Needs Analysis. We leverage the global tool that's provided by AWS, and it's a Qualtrics survey that dives deeper into, firstly, doing an audit on your organization and your existing capabilities. It tracks and monitors certifications obtained, and then it also makes recommendations for future certifications and programs that are respective to the job role or job function. Now, if you are a org that's a 200-person org wide and you have different divisions such as platform, networks, cloud, what we can do is we can isolate the survey into those key divisions so that then you get metrics based on their job role and function. So if you are interested in taking this route to market, feel free to populate some personal details and we can start a conversation and we'll go a lot deeper into how we would manage and facilitate an LNA with your organization. A couple of other things around the navigation. If you know what programs you want to participate in, you can hover over the training directory. Here you'll see all of the programs that are broken down from a foundational, associate, professional, but also role and solution-based. Alternatively, you can click on the training directory where you can go through to the training directory and search by filtering by topic or category. Okay, so that covers our website and the options available for your learning. Now that we've covered all of the free component, let's now dive into the very exciting and very powerful AWS Skill Builder self-paced learning platform. The platform now is, well, probably 4 or 5 years old. However, it's taken probably 8 to 10 years to build from an AWS perspective. There are self-paced courses for learning plans. I think there's in excess of 600 different courses following learning plans across 30 plus of the Amazon technical domains. And it's a subscription service. So it ranges from an individual free subscription to an individual paid subscription through to a team subscription. So rather than try to articulate it on slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click through onto the dedicated digital page on Amazon's site, and we'll use this to navigate a little bit of our learning. And again, I'm just learning to my second screen. So here you'll see there's 3 types of, I suppose, subscription. There's the free learning content, completely free. There's the individual subscriptions, which is paid per month or annually. And then you've got the team subscriptions. And you'll see as we scroll down the page here, there's a number of different benefits around for learners. There's a nice little video here that gives you insight into why AWS has built this platform of self-paced learning. When we dive into the specific features, you'll see here that there's a plethora of information. If we look at it at a high level, there is the AWS Digital Classroom. So some of those instructional instructor-led courses are also in digital format. You've got AWS Cloud Quests, which is like a 3D role-playing game. There's AWS Builder Labs. I think the last count was that there's over 200 Builder Labs that are now available in sandbox environments, so you can get your hands sticky. There's AWS Jams, which is a gamified learning experience where it's scenario based. So, for example, there might be a security alert, and you'll come into a jam session and it will say XYZ security protocol has been broken. How are you going to fix it? And the idea is that you are assigning your knowledge and your capability into how you solve those problems. You can ask for um, information around tips and tricks around how you break it down, like clues, almost like the escape room concept. But the idea is that you try to apply your knowledge with minimal requirement from a clue aspect. AWS industry quests and also exam preparation workshops to prepare for you to go and sit your exam. Now, with regards to the costs associated to the subscriptions, if we click through here, you'll see how AWS are articulating it on the page. They've broken it up with all of the inclusions on the left-hand side, and then you can see here the silos of access and what is included. So obviously from every individual, you can go up and sign for a free account, no cost associated, no investment associated to that, and you can see what's included in that. If you want to go a little bit deeper, individual and monthly subscriptions. Looks like here at the moment there's a sale on for an annual subscription for an individual, normally 449 US dollars. It looks like now it's down to 299, which is a great opportunity. Alternatively, you can do a month-by-month subscription. Try before you commit to maybe a 12-month period. With reference to the team subscriptions, Bespoke can actually resell the team subscription. The entry point is 5 users. I'm just going to jump back to my slide. So the entry point for the Skill Builder team subscription is 5 users. It's 449 US dollars per user plus tax. And you can we can actually help you by converting that into local currency. So we can do a transaction for Australian dollars or New Zealand dollars, depending on what your preference is. One of the huge benefits around the team subscription option is that you can assign learning administrators, and those learning administrators are not part of the number of subscriptions you purchase. So if you purchase 30 subscribers and you had 2 L&D administrators, they wouldn't be included in your 30. The wonderful thing about the administration side of things is that you can design learning pathways and assign them to your learners and users, and then track and monitor with the built-in reports to be able to track their progress. Where needed, you can give them a nudge to say, hey, you haven't completed, your architectural learning pathway. And it's a really good way to make people accountable, but also encourage a really strong continuous learning environment within your organization. The other piece that's of note around the Skill Builder licenses is that Bespoke also provides, it's a valuable asset that we can also develop into a blended learning option, which includes, the always on sticky sort of digital learning, self-paced learning, but then we incorporate that into some of our instructor-led training courses that we're about to talk about. Okay, moving through to turning our attention to our instructor-led programs. So this format is known as the most effective way to accelerate learners' skills development. The last count was that AWS has over 30 instructor-led programs. And this week, we actually have been on the global ATP webinar, and they've been talking about class launches. So there's going to be additional launches, in particular in the sort of AI machine learning space coming up this year. So that list of 30 is going to grow. Now, every class is delivered live virtually on the Zoom platform, and we have an Amazon authorized instructor who will deliver the program. There are sort of a mixture of sort of learning experiences. There's sort of in-depth group discussions. There's specific challenges and opportunities that might be a case scenario that a learner wants sort of some help on. And then there will be this group approach to how they could solve that problem. One of the great things around the ILT is that we have the dedicated hands-on labs. Now, the dedicated hands-on labs are really the best way to reinforce what's being taught in the class. Okay. Now, the wonderful thing about our programs is that when the training completes, so most of the programs are 3 days in duration. Once the program is completed, we actually extend the lab environment for an additional 30 days. So we keep those labs open. So if you as a learner, you were stumbling on one or two of the labs during the classroom session, you can go back and revisit the labs. You can spin up the same sandbox environment and continue to test what you learn in class in that practical sense. Now, from a public schedule point of view, every month Bespoke, we will deliver a public schedule that ranges between 8 to 10 of the virtual programs. And the courses range from that sort of fundamental level, intermediate, and also advanced level. We also engage in private on-site delivery, depending on the customer's requirements. We also do dedicated virtual programs for organizations that have multiple staff members scattered across the country. If we just dive a little bit deeper into the role-based learning pathway, I just wanted to include this slide because it gives you some context around that learning pathway that previously we talked about on our website. But for the purpose of the presentation, if we had a look at some of the role-based learning paths, I'm just going to turn to my second screen. You'll see here that it's broken down into cloud practitioner, architects, developers, and operations. So it's a role and also a function within the business. Now, if we isolated just the solutions architect at the moment, you will see here the recommended learning pathway. Now, I might have mentioned earlier, but just to reiterate, all of the learning pathways always have an outcome of AWS certification. So here in the example of architecture, we've got the foundational program moving into the 3-day architecting program with an outcome of becoming a solutions architect associate certified. Now, depending on your experience, if you're an architect with no cloud experience whatsoever, we would recommend that you take the foundational technical essentials program. But if you've been working in the environment for 6 to 12 months, you're in a role that sort of has had exposure to AWS, you're running a few workloads, you're more than capable to jump straight into that 3-day architecture program. As per the role-based learning pathways, we also have the similar breakdown around solution and specialty-based learning pathways. And again, just to reiterate, Fiona, hopefully you've been able to sort of send through in the chat window the dedicated learning pathway page on our website. With reference to the certifications, like any technology vendor, all of the AWS certifications are globally recognized, and it follows the learning path that we talked about around introductory, intermediate, and advanced. So the introductory foundational level certification is the cloud practitioner. It's not necessarily a technical certification. It's more general knowledge and competency and understanding around the AWS cloud. And there's no experience needed to be able to go through and sit your cloud practitioner. We have people attending our cloud practitioner instructor-led courses with a desire to achieve certifications. And you also have, obviously, on the skill builder as well as another option of self-paced learning around that, that outcome. When we move through to the associate level, you can see here that the job role or the job function, so that solutions architect, developer, and cloud operations is supported, as well as also a data engineer. And then once we move through to the professional side of things, that job role of a solutions architect goes into a professional solutions architect. And then that sort of hybrid role of like a DevOps engineer, sort of 1 foot in the dev space and 1 foot in the cloud ops space. The certification recognized there is the DevOps engineering as a professional. And then, of course, specialty. Let's not forget the specialty. Strangely enough, one of the highest certifications over the last 12 months has been the security. No doubt with some very public announced security breaches over time. There has been a big push from an organization sense around training and enabling and validating that skill set from a security point of view for their learners within their organization. Machine learning, We don't need to talk about the importance or the excitement around AI and machine learning. I anticipate that there will be some additional specialty certifications being launched in 2024. And then again, Fiona, if we could just make sure that we can send through that link through to the certification link, that would be fantastic. So if we start to talk about sort of rounding up our conversation today and we think about what sort of level of investment and, does it really pay off? Comprehensively trained organizations realize an 80% faster to adopt the cloud, faster time to market for projects, increased productivity and ROI on their investment, lower operational security risk, and it's helped capitalize on the AWS cost savings faster. So they've been able to retire technical debt at pace and moved into that sort of, instead of it being a capital expenditure, being into an operational expenditure. And their whole cost center model is completely changing with the cloud. From an individual point of view, greater job satisfaction, dare I say it, but higher job compensation. As you know, the demand and the lack of skills in market provides an opportunity. They're more effective at work. They feel really connected to their employers. We find that feedback from our students is that the investment that the organisation is making in their staff has increased the organisation's staff retention, but more importantly, the employer is feeling valued and they feel that they are really at the forefront of building the future. Now that takes us to the next steps, but Fiona, I might just check in with you to see if we have any specific questions in the chat window. I'll just have a look here. Everyone seems to be very quiet. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop any message in the chat window now, and I'll endeavour to answer any questions you may have. Everyone seems to be very quiet, which is not a bad thing. So if we start to think about what next steps might look like for everyone, if you're ready to start a conversation, whether it be an individual learning or organizational wide learning, maybe it's the learning needs analysis, maybe it's you've got some immediacy around enabling a couple of your solution architects or developers, feel free to reach out to me personally. Again, we'll ask Fiona to share these details in the chat window. If you're not quite ready and you're still sort of exploring or still curious about what you're looking to achieve with your learning journey, we would highly suggest that you at least go down and download the Ultimate Guide to AWS Training Certification. It's a really good fact-finding document which will support you with your curiosity and sort of desire to learn. As a follow-up, we will also be sending you through a follow-up email with access to the recording and also a link to the download guides. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to being part of your AWS training journey in the future. Thanks so much.